Alright, so I'm going to do my second Batman book. I also, if people are wondering, I do have more Batman books that I'm not including in this little list. This is just a list of my Batman books that I had when I first started. When I first started collecting comics, I only had Batman, and then I branched out to different comics for a while, and then I got some more Batman comics. But most of the Batman comics that I had after I went through my other comics craze, I really like, and I don't want to I want to review them after a couple more reads, because all these comics in this list I've read at least 3 times each, so I know a lot about them and I know exactly what my opinion is on them. So I'm going to be reviewing Under the Hood Volume 1. Now, I don't have Volume 2 because I wasn't that interested in getting it after reading this, but I'm going to go through. This was kind of an odd book for me because, well, I'll just explain it. The first time I got it, I got it on my birthday. I read it a couple of days after I'd read most of my comics and played some of my games. I read it and I kind of just didn't care for it. It had a couple of flaws. I just wasn't that interested in it. I read through it, but as soon as I put it down, I was kind of like, yeah, that was alright. Like, it was better than Batman Faces, if you've seen that review, but it wasn't as good as some other Batman books I got. So anyway, after reading that, I was kind of like, nah, I'm not going to review it because I didn't really hate it. I didn't care for it. I'm not going to pick up Volume 2 and find out what happens. But anyway, then a couple of months later, I think it was like 2 months or so, I picked it back up and I was like, I got no comics to read. I may as well read back over it and see if I like it anymore. I read it, and for some reason this time I really enjoyed it. I still saw there was flaws, and there was a couple of flaws, but there's hardly a comic these days that doesn't come out without flaws. But I think, and then I thought, okay, although I was kind of against bringing Jason Todd back, if it wasn't for this book, we wouldn't have the Jason Todd we have now. And if you don't already know, I'm one of the few people that actually enjoyed Under the Red Hood. So there you go. So I kind of liked it, and I was going to review it. And if you don't know what I meant by reviewing it, because I used to have an old channel. Well, I still have that channel, but I do mostly game stuff on it, where I used to review comics on. So when I say I was going to review it, I mean on that channel, because this channel was only started like a month or so ago. But anyway, so I was going to review it, and then the movie came out. So I watched the movie, and I extremely enjoyed that. And it was Judd Winnick. Basically, the movie was fixing all the flaws the book had. I don't know about Volume 2, because the movie covers all the book, and I've only got Volume 1. But all the stuff in Volume 1, it fixes and stuff. But anyway, I'm being really unclear with this review. I really, really enjoyed it, and it was a really good DC animated movie, and in my opinion, it was one of the only DC animated movies that was better than the comic it was based on. So, so then I started to realise that because it fixed all these flaws, when I read the book a third time, I realised I didn't enjoy it as much because... sorry, slight detour. Anyway, so after watching the film and reading the book again, I kind of realised that because of the film, I didn't like the book that much, because the film is also written by Judd Winnick, and because Judd Winnick had hindsight and saw all the things that the fans didn't like about the book, he could fix them, and the film actually kind of makes me slightly support Jason Todd coming back. Okay, I'm going to spoil the film here, so just skip like a minute or so of the video if you don't want to get spoiled. In the film, he's brought back by the Lazarus Pit, which is, a decent way, and it also gives an explanation, because Ra's al Ghul felt responsible for the death of the second Robin, Jason Todd, and he wanted to bring him back because Ra's al Ghul is kind of one of those villains that, although being a psychopath, only does stuff that he thinks in his mind are right. So, like, the Joker knows he's doing bad, but Ra's al Ghul thinks he's doing good. So if he does something that he can't justify in his mind, he wants to repent for it. So anyway, carrying on. So I started to realise all these flaws, and I'll go through some of the flaws. One of the flaws is how they bring Jason back. As I said in the movie, this was fixed, but it's not really explained that much. I haven't read Volume 2, of course, so I don't really have that much of a I'm not allowed to say this really, but I didn't really understand how he got brought back. But I have read reviews and seen reviews and listened to reviews of Volume 2, and they all say the same thing. They all say that it wasn't really explained that much how he was brought back. But anyway, also another flaw I had was it was kind of, but it was painfully obvious that it was Jason Todd, and you could tell yourself, but also you knew Batman knew, and it was building up to this point where he took his mask off and it was revealed that it was Jason Todd who was the Red Hood. But because you knew that Batman knew by this point, he was almost definitely, he was just denying in his brain, this can't be Jason, this can't be Jason. But you could obviously see that he knew it was Jason Todd. And then when he took his mask off and Batman got shocked, it was just kind of unbelievable that he would be, because he wasn't like really shocked, but there's a picture of him where he's like, his jaw's open and he can't believe that it's Jason. But that wouldn't happen because you obviously knew that it was Jason, because he got evidence and everything. But in the movie, he knows, he thinks it's Jason, and that's what it's leaning towards. But he also, he considers the possibility that it's someone who knows about Jason's death and who is just taunting him with this weird, like, I'm gonna pretend I'm Jason Todd thing. So when he finally finds out that it is Jason Todd, it's kind of more climactic than in the book, and I really didn't care for the book that much. I did like Vixen in it, and that's one of my favourite scenes, where she's supposed to be looking and hunting down the Red Hood, looking for and hunting down the Red Hood for Batman, but then she realises that she thinks he's a good guy. Then they fight together, but then he kills all those men. That's really cool, and it kind of explains Jason Todd's, what he wants to do. He's kind of like, he doesn't think he's the bad guy, but he thinks Batman's a good guy as well, just not doing it right, and he's trying to prove to Batman that killing people is the way to go. And there's a couple more little nitpicks I have with it. Not all of them I can remember. This is me being stupid. I forgot to bring the book today, so I don't have it in front of me. But I'm going to go and comment on the artwork real quick. I can't remember who the artwork's by, but it's alright. It's good. It's good Batman artwork. Everything's quite dark, but also you can see the colours, and it's kind of like it's normal. It's not distracting. It's nothing groundbreaking. It's okay. Like, that's pretty much all I have to say. Overall, I would say I don't recommend you picking up the book if you've watched the movie, because you've probably really enjoyed the movie, and if you didn't, you won't like the book. If you did enjoy the movie, you probably won't like the book that much anyway. If you want to know how Jason Todd gets brought back, I would recommend pretending that the movie is in canon. So basically, this is me telling you, watch the movie, don't really read the book. That's pretty much it. Goodbye.